Hello guys, welcome back to Spoken Essays Live. We will continue with freeCodeCamp again and हमने last देखा था हमने एक cat photo app को बनाया था and we learned HTML and we are still learning HTML. We haven't finished learning it yet, but we learned about a few tags, meta tags. We learned about head, HTML, title, and character set attributes, and we learned a lot of them. Why don't I just show you in my notes what we've learned so far? Okay, so what I'll do is I'll turn on my monitor, and that's the monitor's display. Great, you can see what I'm looking at. Okay, so what I'll do here is I'll go to the notes, and these are the elements that we came across. Guys, if you think I've missed any tags that we've learned so far, then please feel free to mention in the comments. And what does it say? So comment, that is the first. So to add a comment we use, well, exclamation mark and then 2 hyphens, and then again whenever the text ends, whenever the comment ends, we add 2 hyphens, well, 2 dashes, hyphens, whatever we want to call, and that is how it will end. Now we have that comment, so that's what a comment does. Header, paragraph, then these are self-closing tags, image, output, then attributes, alt, href, that is alt, alternative text, href, hyperlink reference, type is in button type, we use that in buttons, target for new tab, required as in that field in the form is required, you have to enter the data in that form. I'm sure you must have come across such examples. And then we have placeholder, then we have name, then we have value, and then we have for, we have section, element, we have unordered list, main, figure caption, figure caption, emphasis, ordered list, strong, type, strong is for bold and emphasis is for, of course, italics. Then type, then we have label, we have id, we have field set, we have legend, we have footer, we have doc type HTML, and then we have meta tags. Inside those meta tags we have attributes, char set, character set, and we have a few values inside that character set, but let's not mention them. We don't need to mention them, we can find that out for ourselves. So here is a preview of what you will build. So guys, in the earlier live video we finished making the cat photo app and we were done with that. So abhi hum log dusra project karenge. So I just click on the check your code the last time, and it automatically took me to the next code, next exercise. But if you want to know where it is, what it's about, so you can go back to the home page. So what I did is I'll just go back and show you. So this is the preview page. What happened is I closed this, and then I clicked on responsive web design. That's where our curriculum is, and I went to the curriculum. In my curriculum, you can see here that you can see a tick mark over here. So that tick mark tells me that I've finished building a cat photo app. Now what I will learn is I will learn basic CSS, cascading style sheets, by building a cafe menu. So we're going to build a cafe menu. That's what the preview was for. I'll just scroll a little bit more. Great, I'm currently at this stage, but let's finish this first. So CSS tells the browser how to display your web page. Yes, so CSS will, that's self-explanatory. You can use CSS to set the color, font size, and other aspects of HTML elements. I see. So तुम्हें कस्टमाइज कुछ करना है कि तुम्हें वेबसाइट पे ये जब टेक्स्ट बॉक्स है, टेक्स्ट बॉक्स का कलर चेंज करना है, फिर टेक्स्ट बॉक्स के अंदर फॉन्ट का कलर चेंज करना है, और यू वांट टू डू एनीथिंग एल्स, यू वांट टू चेंज द साइज ऑफ द टेक्स्ट इन, सो विल लर्न हाउ टू change the display, how to change what looks like, what text looks like, what boxes look like on our web page. In this course you'll learn CSS by designing a menu page for a cafe web page. So yeah, we're going to build a cafe menu web page, and let's see. So what does that menu look like? So I'll click on number 1. step 1, and on the step 1 it shows me the preview that this is what your menu will look like. So we have Camper Cafe, I think that's H1, then that is emphasized. I think that's must be if that's H1, then it's safe to say it's H2. But remember guys, we are also using CSS, so this size may be coming from something else. H1 शायद नहीं हो सकता, शायद हो सकता है. This I think is definitely a header. Then we have an image, so we'll learn how to add an image. We'll learn how to place the text in the center. Then est, then we have these lines, what these lines are, whatever these lines are. Then we can, I see an image in the background. That's some coffee for cafe, of course. Then we have a few items, so the name of the items on the left and their price on the right. Desserts, you can see that again, that this is coffee, and the sign, that's a coffee image, and that's an image of a coffee cup, and that's a dessert. That must be a pie, maybe that's an icon of a pie. And we have visit our website, and then 1 2 3 4 freeCodeCamp track, whatever. That sounds good, and let's start coding. So this is what we're going to build, and you can see that there is a what color would I call it? This is creamish, cream coffee, yeah, something, a mixed version of light brown, maybe, yeah. So a light brown box, that is, yeah, that is this big, and इस box के अंदर जो भी items है वो दिख रही है, उनके prices Camper Cafe, and outside there's an image of some coffee beans. Anyway, let's start coding. So let's move with the step 1. As you learned in the last few steps of the cat photo app, there is a basic structure needed to start building your web page. Yes, everything. First we put the so add the doc type HTML tag and an HTML element with a language attribute of English. So first we'll put the declaration. This is called the declaration doc type HTML. Command C. I'll go to the first line, I'll paste that. Perfect. Now we'll go to the next line. I pressed enter to go to the next line. What I'll do is I'll write HTML, that is a tag. In that opening tag I will add an attribute called lang, L-A-N-G, language, and the language is English. So I'll put the quotes and press write ENN, English, and then I'll add the closing tags. I can press enter, or I could put the closing tag here itself. So that is the closing tag. Let's see if our code works. It works. Great. So congratulations, thank you. Now let's go to step 2. We've added these tags, and you can see here I added HTML lang English, and after that I added the closing tag, but the closing tag is moved to the 4th line. So now I understand that everything that we write will be inside this HTML tag. It will all be nested inside in this. So everything will be a child, and everything that we are writing will be a descendant of this HTML tag. Add a head element. With the HTML element, so you can add a title element. Yep. So title is a descendant of head element. So we'll put head first. Then we'll write title. Then we'll put the closing tag. Then I'll put the closing tag for head, and that's where there we have it. I can press enter. I can also press enter here. I can also press enter here. So anything that we want to write. So we'll write cafe menu, cafe menu, and guys, notice it automatically took the indentation, so head is nested inside, title is nested inside head, in head. Okay, now the title's elements text should be cafe menu. Even if I write it this way, I can also write it this way. When I go to cafe menu and remove the title, it will still be the same. Let's press Ctrl Enter. Perfect, worked. If I did it this way, then it would also have worked. Just look at that. Yeah. If I I've already submitted my response, but what I can do is I'll have to scroll down. What I can do is I can do it either way. I'll just refresh the step, reset this lesson. So I reset the lesson. I can write okay head, then closing tag for head. Inside head we will write title, copy like this. I need to write cafe space up CFE, cafe MENU, enter again, backspace because we're not nesting anything, just putting the title. And if I write, let's see what happens if we write it this way. So I'll press Ctrl and enter. That is also allowed. So I'll click on submit and go to the next challenge. Okay, let's check whether we have any comments. Oh, we have 2 concurrent viewers. Thank you so much for your support, and please mention in the comments if you don't understand anything. And great, I will continue with step 3 now. So the title is one of several elements that provide extra information not visible on the web page, but it is useful for search engines or how the page gets displayed. Okay, so I think we came across this before, but let's read anyway. The title is one of the several elements that provide extra information not visible on the web page, but it is useful for search engines and how the page gets displayed. Inside the head element, nest a meta element. We added a meta element before, and we're going to add that in again. So in head I will write in opening meta tag. Now meta tags are self-closing, so I don't need to put a slash meta closing tag. Now again we came across char set before. Char set equals to in quotes UTF-8. Great, and it seems these need to be small, so I'll just lower the case. UTF-8 to tell the browser how to encode characters for the page. Note that meta elements are self-closing. Yes, we did. Yes, we have, and it has given us some explanations. So name char set to the value UTF to tell the browser how to encode characters for the page. So encoding UTF is encoding, and this will tell any browser that is reading and rendering the web page that you have to encode it using the UTF-8 standards. Let's continue. Just a second. Yeah, something stuck around my nose. Yeah, anyway, step 3, the title. Oh, I finished the step 3, sorry. Yeah, I'll just press Ctrl enter. It takes some time. I'll close this tab. Okay, so now we're on step 4. To prepare to create some actual content, add a body element below the head element. So to prepare to create some actual content, add a body element below the head element. Yep, so that's where everything that we're going to show will be जो भी हम लोग दिखाने वाले हमारे वेब पेज पे जो भी आपको प्रीव्यू में दिखेगा वो सब हेड एलिमेंट के अंदर बॉडी के अंदर आता है. सो एड ए बॉडी एलिमेंट बिलो द हेड एलिमेंट. सो हमने हेड डाल दिया. नाउ वी विल ऐड ए बॉडी एलिमेंट. सो लाइक आई सेड, प्रीव्यू के अंदर आपको जो भी दिख रहा है एंड जो भी आपको वेब पेज पे दिखता है वो सब बॉडी एलिमेंट में होता है. So I'll open the tag, open body, and I'll close the body tag with a closing tag. Oh, body, sorry. Let's see whether we are right. Yep. Let's go to step 5. It's time to add some menu context. Add a main element within the existing body element. Great. So we came across sections before and main elements before, so that we can divide the code into sections so that we understand that जो web page पे दिख रहा है तो ये वाला section यहाँ पे है. This is part of the main element. So I'll copy that, paste, /main. What does it say? So add element within the existing body. Yep, we did that. We nested it. It doesn't mention nested, but we know that we are going to make it a part of body, so that's why there is indentation involved. Add a main element within the existing body. It will eventually contain pricing information about coffee and desserts ordered by the cafe. Okay, so in this main element we will add the pricing information. Okay, and we're good to go. Now we're on to step 6. The name of the cafe is Camper Cafe. So in main I will add an h1 element, and I'll close that tag too while we're at it. Might as well do it. And I'll copy this text where it says Camper Cafe. Just a second. Control Command C to copy, paste, Command V to paste, and you can see the preview can show me what text I've added as h1. Okay, give it the name of the cafe in capitalized letters to make it stand out. So yeah, what they're saying is this: you have to write a capitalized to make it stand out. We're making it stand out. Great. Now I'll check the code. Great. Submit and go to next challenge. Wow. I'll press Ctrl Enter again. Please guys note that it takes some time to load the next page, so don't be in a hurry. Now we're on step 7. To let visitors know the cafe was founded in 2020, add a p element below the h1 element with the text est 2020. est is also is of course short for established. I'll press enter, p tag, I'll copy this, and I have to add a closing p tag, closing tag for p, and it says, we'll write est 2020. I can write that, type that, est.2020, 2020, that works. And you can see the text here in the preview. Wow. Now I'll press Ctrl Enter, submit, and go to the next challenge. Congratulations, your code passes. Submit your code to continue. Okay, step 8. There will be 2 sections on the menu, one for coffees and one for desserts. Add a section element within the main element so you have a place to put all the coffees available. Okay, so let's add a section then. So what I'll do is, there will be 2 sections. Add a section within the main element. So within the main element, what I will do is, I'll write it below the 10th line. I'll write it in the 11th line. So I'll write section. Okay, and let's close this. So I'll put the closing tag. I'm going to try something. I'm not sure what I'm doing, but let's see. So that is a section. Now add a section element within the main element so we have a place to put all the coffees available. Let's see if I'm right or I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, then what I'll do is I'll cut this from the 9th line and I'll paste it before the closing tag of section. But I am right. We were supposed to add section element in this. Great. So I'll click on submit and go to next challenge. Step 9. Create an h2 element in the section element and give it the text coffee. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll add in h2 element. I think it is pretty self-explanatory. We came across this before. Header tags are not difficult anymore. Header tags. So create a section element and give it the text coffee. COFFEE. That is visible and we can see it, and the text is correct, and then the code is correct. Now we go to step 10. Up until now you have been limited regarding the presentation and appearance of the content you create. ये तो दिख रहा है, ये कैंपर कैफे बराबर नहीं लग रहा है, अभी तक वो कुछ इमेज नहीं आया, कुछ नहीं आया. So वो कैसे लाएंगे? So you have been limited regarding the presentation and appearance of the content you create. Yes. To start taking control, add a style element within the head element. Great. So हम लोग अभी CSS से related अभी हम लोग finish करेंगे. Like this exercise says, learn basic CSS. So style, I think it's about cascading style sheets. So let's see. What does it say? Add a style element within the head element. It doesn't matter where. So I'll just press enter and then add it to the 4th line. Let's write style. I'm sorry, what happened? I'll press Ctrl Z. Okay. So I'll write style. Okay. And style मैंने डाल दिया है. And it seems everything in the preview has disappeared. So I'll copy this and paste it. What? And I'll put this again. And that is back. The text is back in the previews. I think it is not a self-closing tag. I'll scroll this down now. and up until now you will leave the okay, check your code. Yep, perfect, and we can go to the next step. Step 11, you can add style to an element by specifying it in the style element and setting a property for it like this. That's new. So now we're going to use curly brackets. Interesting. You can add style to an element by specifying it in the style element, okay, in setting a property for it like this, okay, and center your h1 element by setting its text align property to the value center. So inside style I will press enter. So now I'm inside the style tag. Now in this I will write h1, I'll press space, I'll put an opening curly bracket. As soon as I put the opening curly bracket, it also added the end curly bracket, closing curly bracket. Now I'll press enter again, and it automatically put that in the 9th line. The closing curly bracket and the opening curly bracket is still there. Anyway, now we're supposed to, what are we supposed to do? So let's follow the syntax. It said element, so h1 is an element, so मैंने element यहाँ पे लिख दिया है. Now you know what, I'll copy this property and value and will match what the values are. So where it says by setting its text align property, so it says text align is a property, so instead of property I will write text hyphen align, text align डाल दिया, and where it says value I am supposed to write center, center, and I'm missing something. I believe that is a semicolon डाल दिया, and now I can see in the preview that it is in the center. So I think this is for all h1 elements. मैं जितने बार भी अभी HTML डॉक्यूमेंट में h1 लिखूँगा बॉडी के अंदर, तो जितनी बार भी मैं h1 यूज़ करूँगा तो जितने भी होंगे उन सारों पे जो भी टेक्स्ट होगा वो सेंटर अलाइन हो जाएगा. या center your h1 element while setting its text align property to the value center. Yep, I've added that. I'll have to okay, click on the cursor. Yep, I can see the green line, then green color, and we can move to the next step. Guys, be patient. I will remind you again, be patient when you're going through these steps. शायद ना समझ आए तो आप 5-6 बार लर्न कीजिए, उसको गूगल करिए, उसका जो भी मीनिंग होता है, and whenever you're clicking on check your code, it will say that it is correct or incorrect almost immediately, but when you click on it again, it will take some time to go to the next step. It might take a few seconds, it might be instant, so please guys have patience and it will appear. Unfortunately, because it's something, because I'm also streaming and I'm using the page, it's taking slower, but it doesn't really matter. So just be patient if the website doesn't load after you click on submit. So step 12, in the previous step you used the type selector, we did. So these are called type selectors. Okay, we used a type selector. So this must be a type selector. Okay, must be, why not say, to style the h1 element. That's what we did. So this is what we call a type selector, and this is how we style the h1 element. So this is the element, the name of the element, then we call this property and we call this value. Okay, now center the h2 and p elements by adding a new type selector for each one to the existing style element. So हम लोग अभी h2 के लिए type selector use बनाने वाले हैं. So I'll copy this h1 and I'll make a few adjustments so that I don't need to write all of that again. So what I'll do is I'll paste that text and I'll, instead of 1, I'll write 2. Okay, the moment I wrote 2, I could see that coffee is in center now, is aligned to the center now, because of course ये सब text align की property हमने center रखी है. Anyway, now what does it say? Center the h2 and p elements by adding a new type selector for each one to the existing style element. So I think I have to add another. Let's see, p. Oh, I don't need to write p. I'll just paste whatever what I copied before. Great. Now instead of h1 I'll write p, and ये आ गया. Great. Let's see whether we're done with the step 12. So center the h2 and p elements. We did. By adding a new type selector, we did. For each one to the existing style element, that's what we did. We are inside the style element and we've added these three selectors. We added this in the step 11th step, and these two in the 12th step. Okay, great. And it shows me that it's green. That means I have not made a mistake. Let's continue. Now we are on step 13, and is there any comment? Nope, nothing so far. You now have three type selectors. Yep, we do. We have three type selectors with the exact same styling. अच्छा, so let's say मुझे ये पूरा नहीं लिखना है. मतलब मुझे ये टाइप सेलेक्टर अगर मैं हर एक में सेम ही सेटिंग्स डालने वाला हूँ, तो फिर मुझे क्यों हर एक को अलग अलग डिक्लेयर करना चाहिए? तो ये मुझे बता रहा है कि ये हम कैसे सॉल्व करेंगे. You can add the same group of styles to many elements by creating a list of selectors. Okay, so each selector is separated with commas like this. So let's say हमने h1, h2 और h1, h2 और p के लिए सिर्फ एक ही प्रॉपर्टी डाली है, which is text align center. I'm not going to make this left or right. इसमें ऐसा कुछ करने नहीं वाला हूँ. So I think what I'll do is I will remove these two, h2 and p. I'll remove one more line. Great. h1. And what I'll do is I'll follow what example they've given, the example that they've given. So थोड़ा scroll कर देता हूँ तो ध्यान रहेगा. हाँ, step 13. So with commas like these. So each selector is separated with commas like these. So instead of writing them thrice or adding multiple selectors, if I want to apply the same thing to different selectors, then I can make a list of selectors. So I'll press comma, then I'll write h2. The moment I wrote h2, it showed me coffee. It moved coffee and camper cafe to the center. Delete the three existing type selectors and replace them with one selected list. So it's asking me to do the same thing which I did before. So instead of deleting three existing type selectors, I deleted the two and I just wrote comma space h2 after h1. You can also do that, or if you want to follow all the steps, then you can delete all three by yourself and add one list by yourself. There's the same thing really. And h2 with commas like this, delete the three existing type selectors and replace them with one selected list that centers the text for h1, h2 and p elements. So I'll also write comma space p, and the moment I wrote p, the text moved from left to center. Great. And guys, make sure that whatever tags you're mentioning, they're in lowercase. If I write capital P, it still worked. Interesting. What if I write capital H? Capital H, caps lock, H, oh, shift H. That will still work. That's new information. So in CSS that works, but with HTML pages, with with anything that's part of the body, it doesn't work that way. With styles, apparently we can. Okay, but we are still referring to the h1 tag, h2 tag and p tags, paragraph headers. Okay, I think we're good to go. Step 13. Wow. I will scroll up a little. So that's the step 14. The 14th step, you have styled 3 elements by writing CSS inside the style tags. Yep, we did that. This works, but since there will be many more styles, it's best to put all the styles in a separate file and link to it. So they will be different, and one will be a part of, well, index will link the style CSS and they will look for all the settings that we have set in styles.css. Okay, this works, but since there will be many more styles, so to make our code look clean and मुझे सिर्फ styles edit करना है, तो फिर मैं styles file को edit कर सकता हूँ. If I want to change the content, change what's written on the text, then I should open the index file. So this way it's more organized. तो जो भी settings है, जो भी styles है, वो सारी styles हम लोग styles.css में mention करेंगे, and we'll link that separate file to the index.html file. We have created a separate styles.css file for you and switch the editor view to that file. Okay, so that's what they're saying. So this is the editor. Inside this editor, this is not the editor. इसके अंदर हम जो भी डालेंगे वो भी editor का part ही है. If I take the cursor in and write, I'll still be able to write, but that's not what we're doing. We're going through the steps, so mind you guys. And this is a document anyway, mind you, never mind. And that's the index file. Nothing has happened to the index.html file, but now we're looking at the styles.css file. So the extension is .css, and the one we were editing was .html. So now we're in that CSS file. You can see the white color. The color of the box is white, and the color of this box is, well, something blackish, bluish, and the border is white. But this is completely white. So that's what file that's the file we are on, the file that's open. If I click on this, then the editor will disappear. So right now I've selected neither of these files. If I click on index.html, it will show me the doctype.html, the doc file, the HTML file. You can see that if I click on this again, it will disappear. So it's showing me the styles.css files. If I click on both, then I'll be able to look at both of them in split screen view, but we don't have any use for index file right now. And let's continue with the steps. So what does it say? It's best to put all the styles in a separate file and link to it. We have created a separate styles.css file for you and switch the editor view to that file. They did. They switched the editor view to this file. Yep, they did. You can change between files with the tabs and the top of the editor. So they're explaining to me what I already explained to you earlier. So we can change tabs. So you can also call this a tab. And we can change between files with the tabs at top of the editor. Yep. So we're inside editor, and that's on top of editor, on top of the editor. Anyway, start by re-editing the styles you have created into the styles.css. Make sure to exclude the opening and closing style tags. So make sure to exclude. We are supposed to exclude. We are not supposed to declare those tags, that style tag and anything else, not any opening tags or closing tags. We'll only mention what we wrote inside of styles. So here in styles we wrote this much. Type selector. So what I'll do is I'll copy this and I'll close that tab again, and I'll scroll up. I could have also written this, but I'm going to copy and paste it, so I've pasted it. Now you can look at it. You can look at that. मैंने paste ही किया और कुछ किया नहीं है. Start by rewriting the styles you have created. So I rewrote it, or I repasted it. Well, I pasted it and into the CSS styles.css file. Okay, make sure to exclude the opening and closing style tags. So we were right. We didn't include those opening and closing tags, and that is correct. Submit and go to the next challenge. Great. Now we're on step 15. We're back to index.html file, और वो styles.css वाला टैब बंद कर दिया है. I didn't do it. The CodeCamp did it. FreeCodeCamp did it. Anyway, step 15. Now that you have the CSS in styles CSS file, go ahead and remove the style element and all its content. Okay. So यहाँ से अभी हम सारा content remove कर देंगे. Sorry about that, guys. I'll press escape, shift left, delete. Oh, anyway, so now I'm on step 15. Yep, I removed the style element. I'm supposed to remove the style element too, so I'll remove style 2 from here. Great. Go ahead and remove the style element content. Once it is removed, the text that was centered will shift back to the left, which it did. I can remove this line too, there's no need. Submit and go to next challenge. Great. So we have successfully removed the style tag. Now we are on step 16. Now you need to link the styles.css file, so the styles will be applied again. Okay, so now हम वो styles.css फाइल को लिंक करेंगे तो उसको पता चलेगा कि भाई जो भी styles.css में हम लोग स्टाइल्स मेंशन कर रहे हैं, h1 के लिए जो इफेक्ट अप्लाई कर रहे हैं, स्टाइल अप्लाई कर रहे हैं, वो ये HTML फाइल रीड कर पाएगी. So what I'll do is I'll move the cursor here, I'll press enter, and we'll use a link element that is new, and it's called link, that is a self-closing element in the head element. That's so we're so far so good, we're right. And give it a rel attribute value style sheet. So I'll write equals to double quotes style sheet style sheet, and in href attribute value of styles.css. So href equals to double quotes styles.css. And the moment I wrote that, it automatically showed me in the preview what we did, and not what we did, what it looks like. So quickly I'll try to understand what they're saying. So I'm linking a style sheet, and the reference or the location of that file is styles.css. So whenever we don't mention the the file path, we don't mention any slashes like this slash abcd slash this. So that means that both the files are in the same folder. So I'll just quickly Google what this rel attribute means. Rel attribute in HTML. Rel attribute specifies the relationship between the current document and the linked document. Okay, so so I think I have a better idea now. So we're linking a document, and what does it say? So relationship, and the relationship of that document with this index.html file is a style sheet. And what is the reference, what is the path of that style sheet? So it says href styles.css. You can notice here that the name of the file is styles.css, and it's the same here. And I think, yeah, that's it. That's about it. So href is of course hyperlink reference. And let's confirm just in case. So href attribute in HTML. So href attribute is if the href attribute. Okay. So what is href? What is the full form of href? I think it's a hyperlink reference, but let's be sure about what we are saying. So href full form in HTML. Let's see. Hypertext reference. So I have been using hyperlink reference, but it's actually hypertext reference. Hypertext as in the text that we can click on and we'll be able to go to a new site. So it means hypertext reference. I have been saying it wrong for some time now, 3 hours, 4 hours, and the previous 2 live videos. I'm sorry about that. I just learned that it's hypertext reference and not hyperlink reference. So contain the hypertext reference attribute inside there, and this is the source blow.hubspot.com. You know what? Let's go to W3 schools and find out what it is. Let's confirm here that they also mean it's hypertext reference and it's not hyperlink reference according to them, or anything else really. So that doesn't tell me anything. I will write reference. So ref is of course for reference, REFRENCE, reference, and the first is HTML references, top references. Nope, unfortunately W3 schools wasn't able to help. Full form of href according to fullforms.com. There is a website called fullforms.com. Great. So full form of href is hypertext reference. Interesting. That is an interesting website. You know what? In the meanwhile, I'll also mention in the description which website I just referred to, called w3schools.org.com. I'll just, you know what, I'll just go here and I'll copy that link. Where is it? I'll just have to scroll a little bit up. So w3schools.com. So I'll mention that in the description. You can check it out for yourselves. freeCodeCamp. I'll write https://w3schools.com, and freeCodeCamp, of course I've mentioned that. And we came across fullforms.com, fullforms.com. You can check these out whenever you like. https://https:// okay, I've mentioned in the comments, and the same way I'll also mention this. I didn't mention it in the comments, I mentioned it in the description. You guys can check it out. And for our Facebook viewers, I'll paste it in the comments. So allow me just a few seconds. Okay. freeCodeCamp, of course. Copy and cancel. I'll go to Facebook. Okay, comments. I'll have to zoom in. Okay, so we have Facebook comments over here. Great. I'll paste this. I'll enter. You guys can check it out on Facebook too. I've added the links over there too. And let's continue. So we were at full form of href. Two websites say it's hypertext reference. Let's look at PC Magazine. It also says hypertext reference. So I think it's safe to say, based on these three websites, that href means hypertext reference. We can also look at SoloLearn. That is also an amazing site. SoloLearn is how you can learn how to code. They have other courses too, and I think they also teach us how to learn how to learn Python and HTML. I'm not sure, but SoloLearn was also introduced to me by Yogen sir. Thank you, Yogen sir, again for introducing me to SoloLearn. Unfortunately, I didn't finish the whole course of Python, but that was an amazing website. It also helps me understand what code is. It gives you different examples. Anyway, I will also mention SoloLearn for any of you guys interested in learning what SoloLearn is about. So मैं just comments में जाता हूँ. I'll go to comments and https://SOLOLEARN.com. I will copy that. And I will also paste it in Facebook comments. Okay, I'll have to scroll a little bit more. Comments. Expand comments, please. Yes. And you guys can check it out on your Facebook, on my Facebook live, and the YouTube live. Description of the YouTube live. So it says hypertext reference according to fullforms.com. And what does href means? Hypertext reference is attribute tag used to create a link to another page. Yep. Okay. So now back to step 16. I think we were finished with step 16. Let's move to the next step. That is step 17. Yep, it's loaded. For the styling of the page to look similar on mobile as it does on a desktop or laptop, you need to add a meta element with a special content attribute. So मुझे दूसरे displays में भी same दिखाना है, इसको center में रखना है text को. So then I think we'll add the content attribute. Let's say mobile पे भी same दिखाना है, center में दिखाना है text को, and it does on desktop or laptop में भी same दिखाना, मतलब center में दिखाना है. So what I'll do is I'll add a meta element. We added a meta element before too, so we're going to add another meta element. Inside meta element, or will we add a new attribute? So inside an existing meta element, so we'll add a new attribute. And you can look here, उन्होंने हमारे लिए एक space डाल के रखी है. Wow. Okay. So then that must be where we're supposed to edit something. Mind you, there is a space here, there is no space here, so I think this is where I'm supposed to add. And yeah, when it says meta element, I understand that we're supposed to add it to the meta element. So I'll write content equals to double quotes. So it says add the following within the head element. So before we declared char set name, viewport, content with device, initial scale, etc. etc. What I'll do is I'll click here before the letter N, and then I'll scroll till the end, and then I'll copy. I'll press Shift and I'll click on the left mouse button, and I've selected the text. I'll copy that, and instead of content, I will paste the text here. So now we have name, viewport, content with device, with initial scale 1. So this is the content, and I think I'll have to add the double inverted quotes too. Okay, so what does this say? So what does content attribute say? So content attribute says width should be the width of the device. So that is an instruction to the browser that जो भी स्क्रीन में जब दिखा रहे हैं, जहाँ पे भी दिखा रहे हैं ये टेक्स्ट को, वो ब्राउज़र अपने आप डिवाइस के विथ के हिसाब से उसको उसकी विथ बताएगा, करेगा. Initial scale 1.0, so 1 is must be the scale for devices. Let's say I write 2, what happens? 2.0, nothing happened. Let's say I write equals to 0.1. So I think these effects can only be seen on a mobile phone maybe, but I don't know how to play with initial scale. I will note this down, and we will Google it after we finish the steps. So I'll add that to notes. Okay. After value attribute, initial scale. What is initial scale attribute? Moving on. Now we are on step 17. For the styling of the page to look similar on mobile as it does on a desktop or laptop, you need to add a meta element with a special content attribute. We did, and the following we did. Let's see. Oh, I'll have to paste the cursor before I press Control Enter. Control Enter the bar, but no color changed. So I think I was wrong somewhere. I think we were not supposed to touch this meta character set element. We were supposed to add another meta element. So what I'll do is I'll just copy the text from here to here. Just press paste, and then I'll, instead of cutting that, I will press the left mouse button thrice. So you can see here, जैसे मैं I'll raise my mouse. Okay, so I move the mouse and I'll place it here. The moment I placed it here, you can see, and now so when I click on the left mouse button thrice, it will select the text. You could see that, and you'd also heard what I had clicked on. Now I'll click that, I'll copy that, and I'll paste it here before head element. Great, nothing changed. And let's press Control and Enter to see whether we're right. Let's see. So Control Enter, we have the green light. Great. So this is what I did. I guessed it, but if you are not sure what you're doing, then usually what they do is they give you a hint about what to do. After the X button below, there is another line that says hint. You can read that hint and understand what went wrong and what they think may have happened. So anyway, submit and go to next challenge. I'll go to the next challenge. Okay, no comments yet, but I can see that we have 2 concurrent viewers. Thank you so much for watching, all the 2 viewers, and I hope more of you come in the future. Now on to step 18. The text is centered again, so the link to the CSS file is working. So the text is centered again. So what we did is, of course, we did all these steps a few minutes ago, and in index.html file we linked this style sheet using the link element. You can see here, where is it? Wait a second, HTML language. This is the link of that CSS file. You can see here link So link this styles.css file, and the relationship of this file with this HTML document will be style sheet. Anyway, let's go to styles.css and let's read what they're talking about. Add another style to the file that changes the background color property to brown for the body element. Okay, so now we will create another selector. Why? Because we're not going to do anything to this, we're not going to edit anything, we're not going to add background color to the body to the h1, h2 and p elements. We're going to add it to the body element. So I'll write here body. Notice again that I'm not adding those greater than and smaller than signs. And guys, please mention in the comments, we did try to find out what those signs are called, and tell me in the comments what you think those signs, what the name of these signs are. Of course, we commonly call them greater than sign and closer, less than sign, but what other words can there be for that? And great, you can also hear the birds chirping. Anyway, so what I'll do is I'll press space, I'll put those curly brackets, press enter, add another style to the file. Yep, we added another style to the file that changes the background color property. So we're going to write the property called background -color. That is American spelling, and I'll press habit, sorry about that. We're not using equal to sign here for values, to put values. So what will we write for values? We will write the color brown. The moment I wrote brown, you can see the text here automatically the background automatically changed. And I'll of course add the semicolon, and let's see. Yep, that works. We have successfully added another element. Not an element, we have successfully edited another element, added style to an element, I would rather say. So body के अंदर जो भी दिखेगा वो सब brown है in the body element. Step 19, that brown background makes it hard to read the text. That's true. ये जो कैंपर कैफे लिखा है ESC 2020 वो थोड़ा black लग रहा है. मतलब black तो है ही, मतलब the color is black, but it doesn't match well with the background. So what we'll do is change the body element's background color to be burly wood, so it has some color but you're still able to read the text. तो इसका शेड थोड़ा हम कम करेंगे. I'm sure burly wood will increase the darkness or it will lower the darkness. Let's see what it does. So I'll copy the text from here, Bollywood, haha. So brown की जगह मैं Bollywood लिख दूँगा, and it is a lighter version of brown. Yeah, that's much much lighter. Anyway, so that's what we're supposed to do, and let's see. Great, and it's true, we can look at the text easily now. It wasn't like that that text wasn't visible, but the color contrast was a little bit weird. Anyway, let's go to the next challenge. Step 20, the div element is used mainly for design layout purposes, unlike the other content elements you have used so far. Okay, so now we're coming across div element. So before we go any further, let's find out what div means. Is it division? Div tag in HTML, div full form in HTML. Let's search that. So we have W3 schools. I have mentioned the link to W3 schools. You can check it out for yourselves too. And what does this say? So div tag defines a division or a section in an HTML document. The div tag is used as a container for HTML elements, which is then styled with CSS or manipulated with JavaScript. Okay, so yes, we will style it with CSS. Manipulation with JavaScript, I'm not sure what that means, but I'm sure that we will come across JavaScript sooner than later. And so what does it say? It defines a division or section in an HTML document. So HTML के अंदर हम लोग कोई section बना रहे हैं तो division से हम वो define करेंगे कि भाई ये division है, ये division है. Similar to, I think, main and section elements. So the div element is used mainly for design layout purposes. I see. So we use section and main for HTML. This is more related to styles and design layout purposes, unlike the other content elements you have used so far. Add a div element inside the body element and then move all the other elements inside the new div. So okay, after body or inside body I will write div, and that's the opening div tag, and inside section, let's see what do they want. So inside the body element, so I'll add it after main, just before the end tag of body end tag, closing tag. That's not end tag, that's closing tag. And let's see whether we're right. And we will inside the body element and then move all the other elements inside the new div. I didn't need to move it, if you think about it. I mean, we are moving it, but technically I just added a line between main and body to move all of them in there. Anyway, so I'll press Ctrl Enter and we have the green light. So now on to step 21. The goal now is to make the div not take up the entire width of the page. Entire width of the page. For example, we have in this preview here, the entire width of the page is this much. We don't want it to take the entire width. Okay, so what will we do? Not take up the entire width of the page. The CSS width property is perfect for this. So we will use the CSS width property to manipulate, adjust the width of this div. Okay, so create a new type selector. We are going to add another type selector. So body is a type selector, h1 and h2p are also type selectors. Create a new type selector in the style sheet that gives your div element a width of 300 pixels. And you can notice here, after one type selector there is a space. So I'll follow the same format. After 7 I will add another space and I'll write, well, div space curly bracket open, enter, and we'll write width colon whatever the value is and semicolon. Let's scroll up. What does it say? So the goal now is to make the div not take up the entire width of the page. The CSS width property is perfect for this. Create a new type selector in the style sheet that gives your div element a width of 300 pixels. So I'll write 300 px here. Why? Because if we have been noticing it for a while, why did I add px and not write 300? Because now so far I've understood that whatever's in this highlighted box will be pasted somewhere in the file. So I wrote that. Let's check whether we are right. 300 pixels. Yup. What if we don't mention the pixels? What happens then? What will it do? Okay, nothing so far. What if I change 300 to 200? It moved. So without pixels we can also write, but I think there should be some implication, something going on why we have to mention the pixels. I'm sure we will understand in the future. Now step 22. In CSS files, in CSS documents, in files, any file with .css extension, in any files like that, we comment it this way. So we'll write slash asterisk and whatever we want to write, and then again asterisk and then slash. So that's what comments look like. Now we are supposed to comment out a line that contains the color property and value. So this is the property and this is the value, this is the color property and this is the value of this is the color. So you can see the effect of only styling div element. This will make the background white again. Okay, so I'll write slash asterisk space and then again asterisk slash. So the color changed, but the rest of the formatting stayed. The div element is still here, and the div element, the way just like we understood 300 पिक्सल्स उसने रखे ही है, सिर्फ ये वाला पार्ट सिर्फ बैकग्राउंड में से कलर हट गया है. That is a part of the body selector. Anyway, it made the background white again, and congratulations, thank you so much. Now let's go to step 23. Excuse me. Now use the existing div selector to select the background color of the div element to be Bollywood. So what I'll do is, if it's going to be Bollywood and the background color will be, well, then what we can do is we can just copy the text from above. So I'll do this, from the letter B till this semicolon. I'll copy that. I'm not copying the comments, I'm copying the commented part. I'm not copying the commented, the opening comment and the closing comment, if I dare say. But I'm not copying that, I'm only copying background color Burlywood. Anyway, I'll scroll down and it says now use the existing div selector to set the background color of the div element to be Burlywood. So I'll press enter and space and it's Burlywood. So you can see here, this is the div element, this here is the div element. That's not a part of body. Well, it is a part of the body, but the color will, whatever changes, whatever effects we apply will only be in this div. What if I write black? It will all become black. Oh, CK, sorry, you have to be sure what you're writing. WHIT. And another way to find out that whatever you've written is a color, in fact, that is in fact a color. So you can see on your left, आपको यहाँ पे एक square box दिखाता है और उसमें white दिखाता है. तो जब color हम valid color डालते हैं तो वो square box appear होता है. Let's say I write BLAK, तो यहाँ से वो square box हट गया black के पीछे से. जैसे मैं लिखूँगा तो वो दिखाने लगेगा. So that way we can understand that whatever color that we've added, whatever we've written, is in fact in actual accepted color. Anyway, I'll press Command Z a few times. Bollywood, great. Dal diya and submit and go to next challenge. Wow. So now we are on step 24. Now it's easy to see that the text is centered inside the div element. Currently, the width of the div element is specified in pixels. Yes. So I did have a question, and let's see why it is so. The text is centered inside the div element. Yes, yes. The text is centered inside the div element. That is true. Currently, the width of the div element is specified in pixels. That is also true. We did that a few steps ago. Change the width properties value to be 80%. So instead of 300 pixels, now we will write 80%. So जो भी आपको प्रीव्यू में दिख रहा है उसका 80%, उसके 80% में मुझे वो दिखना चाहिए, विजिबल होना चाहिए. What I'll do is, so instead of 300 px, I will write 80, the numbers 80 and px. So 80, not px, I'll write percentage, I'll give the percentage sign. The moment I wrote percentage, I gave the percentage sign, इसने कर दिया. So 80% of the 100% of this preview, and you can see there's some gap here and there's some gap here. So that's 80%. Make it 80%. To make it 80% the width of its parent element. Okay. Change the width properties value to be 80%. We did. To make it 80% the width of its parent element. So again, body's width. If you notice here, the body's width is from here in the preview here till here, and inside I want the div, the specific div, to have the width of 80%, to have 80% of the actual width, the parent's width. Anyway, ये हमने डाल दिया. Let's check. Yep, that is correct. Now let's go to step 25. Next, you want to center the div horizontally. You can do this by setting its margin left and margin right properties to auto. So automatically left or right, वो automatically move करेगा. Let's see what it does by writing it. So I'll go to this line 13th. I'll press enter and make a new line for me. And we want to center the div horizontally. So center, of course, horizontally. तो मुझे यहाँ का gap और यहाँ का gap equal रखना है. So that way it will be in the center. And think of the margin as invisible space around an element. So yeah, you can also imagine this as an invisible space. So if you think invisible space, then I want the distance of both the invisible spaces to be different. So this might be maybe half a centimeter, maybe a few mm, and that could be more than at least 2 or 3 centimeters. So if I want to, make it equal, the distance between the two, and the text should be in the center, then I'll add these properties. So margin left, copy, paste. I'll add all these later too, but I'll just copy these because we know we have something to something to do with them. So margin left and margin right, and properties to select. So we can do this by setting its margin left and margin right properties to auto. Okay, so think of the margin as invisible space, and using these two margin properties, center the div element within the body element. So to make it, put it in the center, I've added a colon, I've also added a semicolon, and notice how I've added the space. So if I write AUTO, so automatically left उसकी लेफ्ट की जगह भर गई है. If I write margin right auto, so दोनों से उसने equal distance ले लिया है, and I think that's what we were supposed to do. Let's confirm and go. Okay, step 25 is done. Now we're on step 26. So far you have been using type selectors to style elements. A class selector is defined by a name with a dot directly in front of it. Oh, okay. So now we've come across a new term, a class selector. So we have a style selector and now we have a class selector. So STYLESELECTOR and press enter. Why is it not scrolling? Let's go. Press page down. Okay. Oh, the window is a little bit. Yep. Now you can see it. Okay, style selector, and we have a class selector now. SELECTOR selector. Let's see what are these class selectors and what do they say. So far you have been using type selectors to style elements. Yep. A class selector is defined by a name with a dot directly in front of it, like this. So I think we create classes by ourselves. We create classes. These classes must be custom. So customize. जो भी हम लोग नए नए classes बनाते हैं, जैसे div के अंदर मैंने नया class बनाया और कुछ भी ABC अप्लाई किया, so उसके पीछे मैं डॉट लगाऊंगा. But if these elements already exist, like HTML tag already exists or body tag already exists, so that then I don't think I need to put a dot. So whenever I'm defining a class or adding styles to this class, we call them class selectors. So class selector is defined by name with a dot directly in front of it before. So let's continue like this. So what I'll do is I'll just copy this, copy styles, class name and styles. Change the existing div selector into a class selector by replacing div with a class named menu. So instead of div, I'll write .menu. And don't you worry guys, but the preview has changed because we haven't added a class in HTML document, in the HTML document yet. I'm sure we will have an attribute called class and maybe an element called class. I don't know, but let's see. So a class is something that we are dealing with. Change the existing div selector into class selector by replacing div with a class names menu. We did that. Press Ctrl Enter and I have the green light, so we're good to go. When it says styles here, you can see that there is no colon or semicolon involved. That means these are all the styles. Anyway, all of these are a part of these styles. Scroll down a little bit and let's go to the next challenge. Now we're on step 27. We're back to the index.html file. To apply the class's styling to the div element, add a class attribute to the div element's opening tag and set its value to menu. So ये div element क्या है? ये div element वो box था जिसको हमने अभी center किया था with the blue color, with the color blue. It's not blue. Something B. I'm not sure. Let's find out. So it was B, I believe. Bollywood. Yep, that was Bollywood. Bollywood से याद रहेगा. Bollywood. Okay. So to apply the class styling to the div element, add the class attribute to the div element's opening tag. So div element का opening tag open किया as in added a space, and we will add a class attribute. See, I was right. So I was close, not right really. So I'll write class is an attribute. I'll press space equals to double quotes and I'll write menu. So I think now it will be connected to styles.css, and you can see that preview in the preview that the color has appeared again. तो वो हो गया. Now you might also have the question that if that wasn't working before, why was this text in the center? Well, easy, because we still have these properties where it aligns the text to the center, h1, h2 and p. Anyway, so styles and go to index element, and I've added the menu value to the class attribute, and that is correct. So ये div है और ये div का class ये है. That means ये div में मैं जो भी change करूँगा वो दूसरी divs में नहीं दिखेगा, because now we're not editing divs, we're editing classes. If you think about it, yep, we're not editing div, we're not editing the property of div. Anyway, what? Sorry, I'll have to go to styles just CSS. We are done. Sorry, I think it said your code passes before. Let me refresh this. It says tests completed. It says sorry, your code does not pass, keep trying, but it doesn't say retry your code or submit your code again. So I don't know what's happening. Maybe something happened. I'll just reset this step, reset this lesson. When I click on reset this lesson, it will only reset the step 27, not any other steps before. Okay, so we're back to step 27. We have div, and I can see here that submit button has disappeared. So quickly मैं इस पेज को रिफ्रेश कर देता हूँ, शायद वो रिफ्रेश करने के बाद वो आ जाएगा. Yup, check your code आ गया. So maybe some glitch, I don't know what happened, but anyway, now we're on step 27. हम लोग लिख देते हैं class equals to double quotes menu, control enter, and it preview also shows me, and let's go. Now we're on step 28. Since the cafe's main product for sale is coffee, yep, that is coffee. Cafe में और क्या? Yeah. And guys, please mention in the comments what your favorite coffee is. Is it mocha? Is it frappuccino? What kind of coffee do you like? Do you guys go to Starbucks? Do you guys have it at home? Do you guys make it yourself? Is it black coffee? Anything you want to share, please do. Now on step 28, wait a second, we have a comment here, I think. Yes, that's okay. Thank you so much, Papa. And let's go to 28. Since the cafe's main product for sale is coffee, you could use an image of coffee beans for the background of the page. So, okay, since the cafe's main product for sale is coffee, yep. We'll add an image of coffee beans for the background of the page. Wow. But we're not going to add an image to index.html. Notice guys, हम लोग HTML file में image img attribute का use कर देते. Now we are going to do something with styles.css. So let's see what they are up to. So delete the comment and its contents inside the body type selector. So we're in body type selector, the type selector called body, and inside this we commented this a few steps ago. इसको हटा देते हैं. And now what we'll do is we'll add a property called background hyphen image. Oh, equal to, because habit, colon, and we will write this as URL https://freecodecamp.com. And notice guys, please make sure, keep your eyes open, that there are no double quotes in this URL. Instead of a double quote, we're using brackets, and that has appeared. बैकग्राउंड में आपको दिख रहा है कि बॉडी के अंदर आपको इमेज दिख रहा है अभी, एंड दैट्स व्हाट वी हैव एडेड एज अ स्टाइल. So we're not using index.html, we're not using any image tags, we're using background image property, and the value of that property is a URL, and the URL link is https://freecodecamp.org, cafe beans, etc. You can see there's we can see a bunch of beans. Let's see if we've done everything, whether we've done everything right. Yep. Let's submit and go to the next challenge. Step 29. It's looking good. Time to start adding some menu items. So now that we're done with this, we'll add a few menu items. What will we do now? So it's looking good. Times to okay. Add an empty article element under the coffee heading. It will contain a flavor and price of each coffee you currently offer. So that's a new element. Let me quickly add that to notes. So what I'll do is, in my notes I will add that. So what I'll write, okay, I've added that, and I will now add an article element. Just give me a second. ARTICLE. Okay. So step 29, we'll add an empty article element under the coffee heading. It will contain a flavor and price of each coffee you currently offer. So let's Google article tag in HTML. इसको शायद टाइम लग रहा है. Oh, something appeared to the right of the screen. That's journeys. So I think I must have googled that meaning before. It's great to revise. Close this, whatever that was, and let's go to the W3 School site. It says article tag. So the article tag specifies independent self-contained content. So the same way I think it's closer to what a div does. जैसे हमने डिवीजन बनाया वैसे हम एक आर्टिकल टैग का यूज़ करेंगे. An article should make sense on its own. It should be possible to distribute it independently from the rest of the website. Okay, potential sources for the article element: forum post, blog post, news story. Note, the article element does not render as anything special in the browser. However, you can use CSS to style the article element. I see. So yeah, it won't do anything special, but if we add an article element, add some style to the article element using CSS, then it will look different. Okay, so global attributes, article tag also supports the global attributes in HTML, event attributes, this. Anyway, let's go back. Step 29, it's looking good. Time to start adding some menu items. Add an empty article element under the coffee heading. Okay, so we have the coffee heading here. I will add ARTICLE, and I have the opening tag now, and I'll add the closing tag because this is not self-closing tag. It's looking good. Yep, it will contain a flavor and price of each coffee you currently offer. So let's say I am a cafe. I run a cafe. I cannot be a cafe, so I run a cafe, and in that cafe I want to list all my products, whatever I currently offer. So I've added a current an empty article element. Let's say, so when it says empty article element, it doesn't mean it should be empty. It means whatever it is, whatever the text we're supposed to add, we are not supposed to add it yet. We're just supposed to add the opening and closing tags. That is here again. It's asking us to donate. They also have PayPal and Patreon, and we also have Patreon over here, guys. Somewhere over here you can see that we have Patreon. And wow, so in Inception I just noticed that I have the text hovering on both my camera and my main screen. I'll just quickly turn it off so that you can look at the one thing. Great. So what I was referring to here, I'll just quickly show you what it says. So if you notice here, somewhere in here you will see a PayPal, so feel free to donate. PayPal, and we also have Patreon, both of them just like this on the screen, just like what you can see on the screen here. So feel free to support, feel free to add any amount you deem necessary, and thank you so much. Ask me later. Step 30, article elements commonly contain multiple elements that have related information. In this case, it will contain a coffee flavor and a price for that flavor. Nest two P elements inside your article element. Okay, so let's read it slowly. Again, I read the line quickly a little bit. So article elements commonly contain multiple elements. Okay, so article के अंदर multiple elements को हम nest करेंगे. You know what, I'll just open menu main again so you can see what I'm looking at. So I'm on step 30. So that have related information है. इसके अंदर we will nest the related information inside the article tag element. In this case it will contain a coffee flavor, so in this case for this camper cafe, this menu card, in this case it will contain a coffee flavor, so mocha, frappe, frappuccino. I think we came across that before, what the preview is like, and we'll add the price for that flavor. Now we will also nest two p elements, paragraph elements inside your article element. The first one's text should be French vanilla and the second's text 3.00 or 00. I see. So yeah, that makes sense. 3.00 should be the price and the first text will be the French vanilla. Okay, so I'll go to article, I'll press enter. Inside article I'll put P, opening P tag, paste, and closing P tag. We're supposed to add two P tags, so I'll copy that and I'll paste the opening and the closing tags again, because we're supposed to nest two P elements, not one. Now in the first P element we will write French vanilla. That must be the first flavor, vanilla, French vanilla, and text of the next is 3.00. Yep, we can see that. Now we'll check whether we are right. Yep, we are right, and let's move to the next step. Now we're on step 31. Starting below the existing coffee price pair, add the following coffee and prices using article elements with two nested P elements inside each. So, okay, starting below the existing coffee price pair, add the following coffee and prices using article elements with two nested P elements inside each. So, ये हम बनाएंगे. As before, the first P elements text should contain the coffee flavor and the second P elements text should contain the price. Yep. So we'll add a few more P elements. Am I doing it right? I'm not sure what I've read and what I inferred is correct. So starting below the existing. So इसके बाद starting below the name and the coffee price pair. इसके बाद हम लोग क्या करेंगे? Prices using article elements with two nested P elements. So I think we're going to repeat this article element 1, 2, 3 and 4 times more. So I'll click on article, I'll press copy, I'll press command C and I'll press enter, paste again and press enter again and paste again. That's 1, 2, then paste again. So 1, 2 and 3 and paste again. Okay, now I'll scroll up and I'll add these values. So caramel macchiato will be here instead of French vanilla. Paste. I can simply write 3.75. I don't need to copy that. Then pumpkin spice, copy. Allow me to scroll down a little bit more. French vanilla, sugar, pumpkin spice. Wow. What was the next one? So we have hazelnut and mocha, and the price of this is pumpkin spice's price is 3.5. Now we have hazelnut, HAZELNUT. Whatever the price of the hazelnut is, we can wait. Well, let's not wait. Hazelnut 4.0, 4.00 and mocha 4.50. So mocha 4.50 and this will be 4.00. Let's check our code. I pressed Ctrl Enter but nothing happened, so maybe I did a step that was unnecessary or I didn't check everything. So French caramel macchiato is 3.75, pumpkin spice is 3.5. Just have to scroll a little bit down. Scroll down. So hazelnut is 4 and not mocha. I made a mistake over there. So mocha, and let's see. Starting below the existing coffee pair, add the following coffee and prices using the article elements with 2 nested p elements inside each. As before, the first p elements text should contain a coffee pair. Okay, yep, I think let's see whether the text is correct, and we are right. We have the green line to support us. And चलो step 32 पे जाते हैं. उसको लोड होने में थोड़ा टाइम लग रहा है, but it is available now. And you can look on the right, look to your right, that in the preview that we have caramel macchiato, 3.75 pumpkin spice, whatever. Yep, in that order. Now the flavors and prices are currently stacked on top of each other. That is true, they are stacked on top of each other and centered with the respective p elements, because we added the p value, p type selector in the type selector list. तो हम लोग जितने भी p tags डालेंगे इस डॉक्यूमेंट में वो सारे ऑटोमेटिकली सेंटर अलाइन हो जाएंगे. So what will we do now? It would be nice if the flavor was on the left and the price was on the right. Yeah, if you go to any menu, if you open any menu in a restaurant, you must have noticed that menu में text मतलब item का नाम पहले दिखाते हैं. Why am I saying item? We can call it a dish. So dish का नाम left में दिखाते हैं और dish की price right में दिखाते हैं. So the same way we wanted to make it look similar to that. So let's see what we're supposed to do. It would be nice if the flavor, yep, it sure would be. Add the class name flavor to the French vanilla p element. So just like we added class to the, which element did we add the class to? So we added the class to the div element, and we called it, I believe, we can check it in styles.css, but we called it menu. So dot menu was the name in style CSS. So we use that for div. So the same way we'll add a class value to this French vanilla flavor. So I'll write, what will I write? And the class name flavor to the vanilla. So I'll write flavor, flavor, class flavor inside the opening p element. Yep, done. Now we're on step 33. Using your new flavor class as a selector, set the text align properties value to left. So we'll add another selector, but now this time it won't be a type selector, it will be a class selector. So I will write dot flavor space curly bracket open, right, using your new flavor class as a selector set. So I'll write, I can type it or I can copy the text. So I'll copy this text align till here, please. Yep, copy, move the cursor here, paste, colon, left. Notice how I'm not using double quotes here. Text align left. Congratulations, your code passes. Submit your code to continue. So that was the flavor class. Now next you want to align the price to the right. Add a class named price to your p element, that is 3.00 at its text. So now we'll add a class named price. So class equals double quotes price, and yep, it has 3.00 text in it. ये भी कर दिया. Great, submit and go to next challenge. Step 35. Now align the text to the right for the elements with the price class. I see. So I'll write dot price curly bracket open. Now I'll write, I want to align the text, so I'll write text hyphen align gn colon left. I wrote it manually, but you can also copy it from this 17th line. I'm only copying that line, so I don't really need to copy anything else. So, and I can safely paste it if I want to, which I will. It's the same thing. So if you don't want to write it, you can just copy from whatever you wrote before. Now align the text to the right for the elements. So instead of left, because this is the price, we will write right. And now that's on the right. Okay, great. Submit and go to the next challenge. Now I think for the next step we will probably what we'll probably do is we'll probably add the class values, the class attributes to the rest of the p tags or the section p tags in the section element so that we can apply it. So if you've noticed, we're not applying it to the p tag, we're applying it to the price, but price class is inside p tag. मैं वो अगर क्लास प्राइस वाला क्लास HTML डॉक्यूमेंट में कहीं और डाल देता हूँ तो भी हमें दिखेगा कि वो अलाइन राइट या लेफ्ट हो जाता है. Anyway, let's go to step 36. That is kind of what you want. Okay, it is kind of what we want, but if you've noticed in a menu, in a restaurant menu, the price and the dish, the name of the dish are aligned equally. It's not like here is the price and here is the name of the dish, if you think about it, or the other way. Anyway, but exactly, so that is kind of what we want. But now it would be nice if the flavor and the price were in the same line. So that tells me that paragraph is not an inline element, like the submit button that we came across yesterday. So and the next line explains that itself. So p elements are block level elements, so they are block level elements and they're not inline elements. So they take up the entire width of their parent element. So they take up the entire width of their parent element. Okay. Yep, yeah, that makes sense. Entire width of the parent element. So for this p tag, its parent is mentioned in the comments, guys, what its parent tag is, but I know, and it's article tag, and you can look at it here below h2. Anyway, so that p class, so that p tag is inside article, so the article tag is the parent, so that's the width. Anyway, so they take up the entire width. तो उसने पूरा width ले लिया है, आपको दिख नहीं रहा, बट ये पूरा width उसने ले लिया है अपने एलिमेंट के लिए. Anyway, to get them on the same line, you need to apply some styling to the p elements so they behave more like inline elements. So they behave like inline elements, but they are still block elements, but we're going to make them behave like inline elements using CSS. So just give me a second, let me readjust my earphone. Okay, what happened? Wait, yes. So this kind of what you want, but now it would be nice with the flavor. Yep. To get them on the same line, you need to apply some styling to p elements. So to do that, start by adding a class attribute with the value item to the first article element under the coffee heading. Okay, so let's go to the article. I will write, now we're applying it to the article element. We're adding a class to the article element. So I'll write class equals to double quotes. I'll write item, because this is an item. If you think about it, that's the name of the item, and that's the price of the item. So we're adding the class item to this article. Yep. Now we go to step 37. The p elements are nested in an article element with the class attribute of item. Yep. So the way we've been doing it, अगर हम लोग class declare कर रहे हैं, that is a custom class. Well, yeah, every class is a custom anyway, but if we're doing something with classes, then we add a dot before them. So the p elements are nested in an article element. Yep, they are, with the class attribute of item. Yep, you can style all the p elements nested anywhere in elements with a class named item like this. So जहाँ पे भी p elements item class के अंदर nested होंगे, वहाँ पे वो apply होगा. So what does this mean? Let's read further and I'll show you what it looks like, so then you'll have a better idea what it means. Using the above selector, add a display property with value inline block so the p elements behave more like inline elements. So I'll copy this, I'll paste it here, and in these curly brackets I will press enter. एक space उसने डाल दिया, पता नहीं क्यों. Anyway, add a display property, so display is a property, and inline hyphen block is a value of this property. So you can see here, the moment I wrote inline block, they came together. They came together, and now let's see whether we are right, or maybe I made a mistake. What if I write inline block? So inline block, inline hyphen block. Wow, that is amazing. So congratulations, your code passes. So the P elements behave more like inline elements. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, now we're on step 38. That's closer, but the price didn't stay over on the right. Yep, price right में नहीं गया, even if we've aligned it to the right, to the left, to the right. If you notice here, हमने यहाँ पे price को align किया right पे, but फिर भी वो inline block हमने जब add किया तो वो automatically left में आ गया. Wow. So why is this? This is because inline block elements only take up the width of their content. So उसकी width, इसकी width जितनी ही होगी, जो भी हम लोग ने inline content में डाला, inline block में अंदर डाला है, उसकी width उतनी ही होगी जितना text है. तो जितना बड़ा text या जितना छोटा text, उसके हिसाब से उसकी width change होती रहती है. So what we'll do is, to spread them out, add a width property to the flavor and price class selector that have a value of 50% each. So both I'll add a width width property with the value 50% colon, and I'll copy this. The moment I wrote width as 50, this text moved a little bit more to the right, more to the center, and it's more to the center than it was before. Yes, and I'll do that for this price too. Okay, so if you notice here, this 50% डाला तो यहाँ पे इतना बड़ा गैप आ गया. What are you trying to do? Anyway, जब मैंने यहाँ पे flavor which is this French vanilla, उसके लिए 50% डाला, तो यहाँ से यहाँ का distance change हो गया. So I think French vanilla का width increase हुआ. 50% of what? So 50% of this div, I believe. Yeah. Anyway, let's continue. कहाँ गए? Let's check. Submit and go to next challenge. I was right. Let's move to the next step. I'm sorry about that, guys. I see. Okay, now it's loaded. Step 39. Well, that did not work. It did work, but it did not work in the way we intended it to. So styling P elements as inline block and placing them on separate lines in the code creates an extra space to the right of the first element. It did create extra space to the right of the first element. Yep. Causing the second one to shift to the next line, which it did. It shifted to the next line. One way to fix this is to make each P elements width a little less than 50%. So let's play with this. It wants us to change the width to 49%, but let's see what happens when I write 10%. When it's 10, French and vanilla are a part of separate lines. What if I write 20? Now the text 3.00 has changed. What if I write 30%? Now French vanilla is here and 3 is a little bit more to the right, but not exactly to the right. Anyway, what if I write 40? 40, it moved a little bit, the price moved a little bit more to the right. So let's try writing 49. So when I wrote 49, we checked and we saw what happens. What if I write 50? What's the difference between 49 and 50? I think it moves more to the left, more to the right if I write 50, and more to the left if I write 40. Okay, that did not work. So I'll select it and then I'll write 49, so I can see the effects immediately. So right now it's 50. Let me write 49. It didn't change. What? Anyway, crazy. Let's change this to 49. So when I change it to 49 for both of them, 3.00 same line में आ गया, and it's on the right. Okay, so ये कर दिया. Now we're on step 40. That worked, but there is still a little space on the right of the price. You could keep trying various percentages for the widths. Instead, use the backspace key on your keyboard to move the p element with the class price next to the p element in the class flavor so that they are on the same line in the editor. Make sure there is no space between them. Does this space affect things? Okay, so what I used is I used shift and left arrow to select the blanks or the spaces. Let's remove it. कुछ हुआ? Command Z.